boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have in here is Oddworld Soulstorm, a game developed by Oddworld inhabitants, and it is using Unity engine. So as you can see, I'm running the game at 1080p, absolutely maximum settings on my GTX 1650 Super. And let's start with the requirements. So this game recommends an Intel quad-core at 2.3, 16 gigs of RAM, and a GTX 970. So I believe that the 1650 Super it is superior to the 970, not entirely by much, but it is fairly superior. And so I decided to use the second level to benchmark because I started on the first level, and the first level looked really good and had tons of physics, but this second level seems less appealing visually, but it feels more demanding, and it is actually more demanding. And so at 1080p my frame rate was fully above 60 frames per second, while 1440p it was kind of a mixed bag. It was pretty much between the 45 to 60 frames per second. So if you don't care to sustain 60 frames per second all the time, you can go with 1440p. Alright, 4K, well, I did try it for myself, but unfortunately I started to saw many times frame rates under 30 frames per second, so I don't really think that's a wise decision. Alright, so that's pretty much about it. Graphic settings wise, this game doesn't allow you to choose that much, so there is shadows options that doesn't affect that much the performance, and there is a post-processing which seems to affect ambient occlusion. And yes, in that case there is a nice difference in performance, but still they are just two settings and resolution and VSync, and that's about it. So I think they could have done much more with the graphical settings, but that's pretty much just that. Alright. So despite the game it doesn't sound like visually appealing on this level, I'm a little bit concerned because I have done this video a couple of days ago on the benchmark, and then I saw the Digital Foundry video about the Oddworld Soulstorm, and I saw so much interesting things on that video, specifically the design of the environments on the further levels. They really seemed amazing. So I'm a little bit concerned that these specific tests that I've done on this second level, you know, despite this level it is more demanding than the first one, I'm still afraid that this second level it is less demanding than the levels that Digital Foundry did show us. So if it is more demanding, I'm not really sure if the 1650 Super can handle the game at 1080p maximum settings at 60 frames per second all the time. I'm not really sure about it. But I'm also not expecting that the 1650 Super would have problems with further levels inside the game. I'm not saying that the GPU, I'm not saying that the GPU will be able to handle the game all the time at 60 frames per second in further levels. What I'm saying is that I'm expecting the 1650 Super to hold on for the most part those 60 frames per second, and I'm expecting that the GPU might have drops in key moments like big explosions or many stuff going on. But still, in this second level and on the first level that I did try it out, I haven't seen any of those moments, alright? But again, I'm a little bit concerned that the further levels inside the game might be considerably more demanding, which might cause those issues, right? Because what I have saw on the Digital Foundry video really looked good comparing to what I'm showing in here on this second level, and that's why I'm concerned with that. But still, I decided to release the video anyway, and I don't have too much time to test it out the game again, so I decided to just release the video with this second mission nonetheless. Again, I did try the first one, and the first one was amazing with tons of physics and explosions going on, and still it was less demanding than this second level for some reason. So let's talk about other thing. What about the game? Oddworld Soulstorm, it feels like a remake from the other Oddworlds. I never played Oddworld before. I know it's a shame. There were tons of titles in the past, and it was a very famous game decades ago. A very nice game, a very nice puzzle game, but I never played it before. So this is my first experience with the game, and probably that's why the reason I'm so noob about it. But I really think that the game includes some clever puzzles, some nice stealth moments, and some whoa moments with the physics and stuff going on. So it feels good. Although reviews haven't been that great. So on Metacritic, the score of the game have been around 70s. So it's not great, not terrible, like the A12 would say on Chernobyl TV series or TV show. But I think it's fine. Alright, I think it's a fine game. What it isn't really fine about the game, it is really its price. So they are charging $49.99 for the game. It's a full price. I don't think it is a nice decision on the PC market. Also, and unfortunately, it is an Epic Store exclusive, which should put some people thinking about their life and thinking that I'm not going to buy this because this eventually will reach Steam. So this will be what most people will think about buying this game on Epic Store. So, two bad news: the price and the Epic Store exclusive. But there is more, and according to Digital Foundry, and I have seen by myself too, is that this game contains tons of pre-rendered cutscenes. Very nice pre-rendered cutscenes, in fact. They were awesome. They really feel very cinematographic, so they are simply awesome. But they are pre-rendered and they are locked to 30 frames per second. So when I started the game and saw that, I thought that, yeah, this is normal. So they decided to go with pre-rendered. I would prefer obviously in-game cutscenes where I could have 60 frames per second or the frame rate that my GPU and system could handle. But yeah, they have gone with pre-rendered at 30 frames per second. But shockingly, when I saw the Digital Foundry video showing the pre-rendered cutscenes playing at 60 frames per second, I was like, what the hell is happening? And what was happening is that PS5, for example, the pre-rendered cutscenes are running at 60 frames per second, while on the PC, the pre-rendered cutscenes available are just at 30. So that's a huge disappointment. In my way of thinking, that's a huge disappointment. They could find a way, in my opinion, to deploy 30 frames per second cutscenes or 60 depending on your system, but I'm not really sure if that it is even possible. Yes, on YouTube you can select 30 frames per second or 60 depending on the quality that you want to watch your video, but YouTube saves multiple versions of your video, so I can't really imagine if Oddworld would have cutscenes at 30 and then more cutscenes, or I mean the same cutscenes at 60. That would occupy tons of space. In my opinion, the best decision would have been they have gone with in-game cutscenes, and by doing that, the cutscenes would run at the frame rate that your PC would handle. That would be the wisest decision. The game would consume so much less space because of that, but they have decided to go with pre-rendered, and for me that's a bad decision. But still, I'm not pissed about it because honestly, the pre-rendered cutscenes that they are shown in there, they really look awesome. I think that's one of the things. When I started the game, I was really surprised, but unfortunately, as far as I was mistaken, I'm not really sure. But the first time you are watching the cutscenes, you can't really skip the cutscenes. So you are forced to watch. You can pause it, but you can skip it. If you replay the level, of course you can skip all the cutscenes. But the first time you are watching the cutscenes, you are forced to watch them. And some of them are a little bit big. They are awesome, alright. But yeah, that's about it. So guys, I think that's all that I want to talk about Oddworld Soulstorm. Hope you can enjoy the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. I'm a noob at this game. Goodbye.